Good evening, everyone. Happy Tuesday evening. Is Tuesday, April 18, 2023. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast right here on RK Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Tuesday evening, so let's get started right now. First up, man accused of making threats against Portsmouth High School remains in custody. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
At Bentley Chevrolet, buy the #1 best-selling retail full-size pickup. Buy your new Chevy Silverado today during Truck Month. Bentley Chevrolet, the neighborhood dealer who treats you like family. Bentley
Chevrolet. Tonight, a Maine man now facing federal charges in connection with a video post on Snapchat that threatened Portsmouth High School. Thanks for joining us here tonight at 10. I'm Steve Botari.
And I'm Marissa Tansino. WMUR's Grace Feinerman is live in Portsmouth tonight with information investigators are just releasing about this case.
Steve and Marissa, we're learning just how dangerous this situation could have been. People in Portsmouth say they were terrified, and officials are now praising law enforcement for their swift action. People spending a Friday evening in Portsmouth voicing concern after 25-year-old Kyle Hendrickson allegedly posted a Snapchat video with a gun threatening Portsmouth High School.
If I had children, I would be afraid to send them to a public school in today's day and age. You just hear so many horrible stories.
And I initially heard about it, and I thought it was terrifying, first of all. I can't imagine being in that school or being a parent.
The video was posted with the caption, "I'm gonna shoot up the school." Portsmouth High School surveillance video shows Hendrickson's car around the time the video was sent.
A complaint was issued today out of federal court for Kyle Hendrickson for transporting in interstate commerce a threat to injure another person.
Court paperwork says Hendrickson was dropping his mom at the school. A search of Hendrickson's vehicle found an AR-15 rifle, a shotgun, camouflage body armor, a handgun holster, a red dot sight, and numerous rounds of ammo. The paperwork says investigators found another shotgun at a home associated with Hendrickson and a handgun similar to the one in the video at a motel where Hendrickson was staying.
I would commend the police for their swift action in this case to thwart any type of actual injury to anybody in Portsmouth and in particular in the high school.
According to documents, Hendrickson told police the video was a joke, but didn't elaborate on why he made it. Hendrickson could face up to 5 years in prison, and fines from his federal charges could be up to $250,000. We're live in Portsmouth. Grace Feinerman, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Man accused of abducting woman child from Mall of New Hampshire convicted. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Fidium Fiber is here, and that's good news for customers. Get a dedicated fiber connection with symmetrical upload and download speeds. No contracts, no data caps, no bundles necessary. Gig speeds, awesome prices, better experience.
Closing arguments in the federal trial of a man accused of kidnapping a woman and her son at the Mall of New Hampshire are set for today. If convicted, Everett Simpson could be sentenced to life in prison. He admitted that he left a Vermont drug treatment center in January of 2019 and then stole a van and drove it to New Hampshire. But he claims he did not kidnap the woman and her son. Simpson says they went back to Vermont with him consensually.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Four dead, 3 hurt in shootings in 2 Maine communities. 1 person of interest detained. Let's take a listen to this video.
Now's the time to get a great deal on select Kubota equipment. Part of the #1 rated And Megan, good afternoon to you. We have seen more activity in the last 5 minutes or so. A law enforcement official came up and said the shoulder of the road just off of this southbound off-ramp off 295 is now actually being searched. As Talia told us about 20 minutes ago, law enforcement is continuing to search for one more person who may be involved in this shooting. We just saw those officers headed into the wooded area as they continue their search. Our vantage point is a little blocked now that more law enforcement officials have arrived on scene, but I believe it is the second car back. That is the car that appears to have multiple bullet holes, significant front end damage. About 30 minutes ago, we also spoke to an eyewitness. He says that he was headed south on I-295. This is around 10:30. It was shortly before the rain started. And he said that he saw gun smoke coming from at least one vehicle, possibly two. He pulled over at that time, and he said that he saw 3 other cars do the same. So again, law enforcement continuing to search for at least one person here who may be involved. We saw another man who appeared to be at least detained. He was put in handcuffs, and we saw him placed in the front passenger seat of that white law enforcement vehicle just over my shoulder. But we are continuing to monitor the situation for now. Megan, this is an evolving and fluid situation, as one law enforcement leader just told us, making an offhand remark a couple minutes ago when he asked us to step back a bit from the scene.
And Terry, we were looking at some drone video as you were talking of the backups there on 295. As far as we know, that shelter-in-place order is still in place. Walk us through again. You said that you saw that camouflaged sort of law enforcement officers going into the woods. Is that correct?
Yeah, Megan, that's right. Within maybe the last 10 minutes or so, we saw half a dozen to a dozen officers who were in tactical uniforms. They lined up just on the railing of this off-ramp, and they went into the woods. That's where they are right now. And we just spoke to an official with Maine State Police who said that they're likely, and if we can shift our camera over a bit, they're likely going to search this wooded area all the way to where this off-ramp meets Route 1. They did say that this is going to be an evolving situation. I imagine that they're going to search probably every inch of this particular area in question. And as that eyewitness told us just about 2 hours ago at this point, this was really the center of activity when those gunshots were fired. Megan?
And the one person taken into custody, and now they're looking for a suspected second person connected to this shooting incident. Is that right, Terry?
Yeah, Megan, that's right. And I'm just going to refer to my notes here because I want to give you the latest information. This coming to us from a spokesperson for Maine State Police. This shooting itself, it happened around 10:30. This is on 295 South in Yarmouth. As we're told, at least a couple people were injured. One person is in serious condition. They were taken to a hospital. One person we know is detained. That may be the man who we saw who was placed in handcuffs and then in the front passenger seat of one of the cars, that white vehicle, which is just over my shoulder. And they are continuing to look for one other individual who may be involved in the shooting. We have seen law enforcement canines in the area as well. They are searching for that second person of interest in this shooting incident, which first occurred around 10:30 today, Megan.
All right, Terry, thank you. You have really scary moments in Yarmouth as this situation continues to unfold. Thank you for the details. I know a lot of people in that community certainly concerned at this moment, so thank you for walking through all of that for us with what you know. Terry, we appreciate it.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. One person dead after a fire in Meredith. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Make the most of every property with a great deal on the Kubota commercial landscape lineup. Right now, bring home the Kubota Z700 mower for 0 down, 0% APR for up to 60 months.
MB Tractor and Equipment, where best meets second to none. MB.
About 20 minutes to 12, Meredith Fire was called for a reported building fire.
The fire chief says when they arrived, they were greeted by a ball of flames. And this is what that ball of flames has left.
My understanding is they did as best of a primary search as they can, given the fire conditions, but they weren't able to get in until they got the fire knocked down.
Once the fire was out, that's when firefighters discovered the victim.
The deceased was discovered in a garage, a walkout, sort of a walkout basement or a walkout area.
The fire chief says one intern with the department was also transported as a precaution. That intern was treated and released and is now back on duty. Investigators say there is nothing suspicious about the fire, but they're just beginning their investigation.
Now, there was some question about whether or not smoke detectors were working. Another neighbor said he could hear them cycling on and off, but despite that, the person inside was unable to make it out. Reporting live in Meredith, Ray Brewer, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. New Hampshire couple shot, killed 1 year ago today. It's been 1 year since a Concord couple was shot and killed during a walk on a popular broken ground trail. Steve Reed, 67, and Wendy Reed, 66, left their Concord apartment in the afternoon on April 18th, 2022, last year, to go for a walk, and were found dead days later. Family members described the Reeds as soulmates, saying the pair met in Washington, D.C. while Steve Reed worked in the Peace Corps and Wendy Reed attended college on an athletic scholarship. The Reeds raised their children in Concord and lived in the vicinity various places before returning to Concord after Steve Reed retired. The killing shocked the community and left some wondering if the public's safety was at risk. No suspects were named in the case until October when Logan Clegg was arrested in Vermont. He was later charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder. Clegg is set to go on trial in July. Supreme Court to hear religious rights case involving Christian postal worker. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
What causes sensitive teeth? Did you know that the 2 leading causes are irritated gums and weak enamel? Switch to new Sensodyne Sensitivity Gum and Enamel. Helps take care of 3 problems in just 1 toothpaste.
To the Supreme Court, set to hear what could be a landmark case involving freedom of religion. Our senior national correspondent, Terry Moran, is at the Supreme Court with more. Good morning to you, Terry.
Good morning, Rebecca. This is a huge case, yet another battle in the ongoing war over religious freedom and separation of church and state, and it could have major implications for nearly every American workplace and American worker. Gerald Groff is an evangelical Christian missionary who worked part-time at the Postal Service, delivering mail every day except Sundays until 2013, when the Postal Service contracted with Amazon to start delivering Sundays. Groff told his bosses he couldn't work Sundays because of his faith, said he'd work holidays and double shifts, but his bosses insisted, and so he resigned. Federal civil rights law protects Americans against discrimination in the workplace on the basis of their religious faith unless accommodating an employee's faith would put, quote, undue hardship on the business. Decades ago, the Supreme Court defined undue hardship to mean anything more than a de minimis cost, a trivial cost, and religious freedom advocates say that's led to discriminating against people of faith. Gerald Groff says that's unfair, but employers warn that they could end up accommodating everything from workers at pharmacies who don't want to dispense birth control to workers who won't get vaccinated. It is a major case, and we expect a decision by June.
Many will be watching, Terry, as you know. Thank you.
Well, hey there, Jim.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. That does it for this evening edition of the Riley King Newscast right here on RK Network. Thank you for tuning in and watching. Have a great evening. Good night and goodbye.